Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Have you ever found yourself going through the motions, doing what you're told, following routines, chasing goals, without really knowing why? We live in a world that often celebrates the what and the how, what we do for a living, how we do it, how much we achieve. But behind every truly fulfilled person, every meaningful journey, and every great success, there's a powerful why. Simon Sinek once said, "People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it." And that idea isn't just for businesses or leaders. It's for all of us. The power of why can transform our relationships, give purpose to our daily grind, and ignite a fire in everything we do. Today I want to take you on a journey into the heart of your own why. Because when we live with intention, when we start with why, we stop surviving and start thriving. Clarity of purpose fuels motivation in a way that nothing else can. When we understand why we do something, it becomes more than just a task or obligation. It becomes a mission. Too often, people wake up each day and go through routines that feel empty or repetitive. They clock in, clock out, and wonder why they still feel unfulfilled, despite being busy. The difference between those who feel inspired and those who feel drained is not necessarily what they do, but the reason behind it. When we gain clarity on our purpose, we tap into a deep source of energy that drives us forward, even when circumstances are difficult. Imagine waking up with a clear sense of why your day matters. You're not just heading to work to complete tasks or earn a paycheck. You're contributing to something meaningful. That sense of purpose transforms your mindset. You begin to approach challenges differently, instantly. Obstacles become opportunities to grow, not reasons to quit. When your purpose is clear, motivation doesn't need to be forced, it flows naturally. It's the difference between having to do something and wanting to do it, because it aligns with who you are and what you believe in. Purpose gives meaning to effort. Even the most tedious tasks can become significant when they are tied to something greater. A teacher who understands their why isn't just giving lessons, they're shaping minds. A parent who knows their purpose isn't just cooking dinner or helping with homework. They're building a legacy. A business owner with a clear why isn't just selling products. They're creating value that impacts lives. The clarity of purpose transforms the ordinary into something extraordinary because it attaches meaning to every action. When people lack clarity of purpose, motivation tends to be shallow and short-lived. They might feel a temporary burst of inspiration from external rewards like money, recognition, or pressure, but that kind of motivation fades quickly. Without a deeper reason to keep going, setbacks feel heavier and accomplishments feel hollow. But when someone knows why they're doing something, their motivation becomes intrinsic. It comes from within. They keep moving not because they have to, but because they are pulled by a vision that is meaningful to them. Clarity of purpose also helps us focus. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to be pulled in 100 different directions. Without a clear sense of purpose, we end up saying yes to things that don't matter and no to the things that do. But when our why is strong, it becomes a filter for decision-making. It helps us prioritize what aligns with our mission and eliminate what doesn't. That kind of focus not only saves time and energy, it sharpens our impact. We stop wasting effort on things that don't serve our purpose and invest more into what truly counts. Furthermore, purpose breeds consistency. Motivation can fluctuate day to day based on emotions, energy levels, or external circumstances. But a strong sense of why keeps us grounded. It gives us a steady reason to show up, even when we don't feel like it. Athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, and changemakers all have days when they feel tired, frustrated, or discouraged. What separates them from those who quit is often clarity of purpose. They know what they're fighting for. They understand the bigger picture, and that clarity keeps them in the game. It also brings out passion. Passion isn't something that just appears out of nowhere. It grows when we are doing something that matters to us. When people are connected to their purpose, they become more enthusiastic, engaged, and alive. You can see it in their eyes, hear it in their voice, and feel it in their energy. Their work stops being a chore and becomes a calling. They begin to inspire others, not by trying to, but simply by being aligned with their why. That kind of authenticity is contagious. It creates a ripple effect that motivates others to find their own purpose as well. Clarity of purpose also strengthens identity. When we understand our why, we begin to see ourselves differently. We stop defining ourselves by our job titles, achievements, or social status, and instead by the values and beliefs that drive us. This internal clarity makes us more confident and less reactive to external opinions or setbacks. We become more anchored in who we are, which allows us to move through life with greater integrity and self-assurance. Decisions become easier because they're no longer about pleasing others or chasing approval. They're about staying true to what matters most. This kind of clarity is not reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone willing to ask deeper questions. It doesn't come from looking outward, but inward. It comes from reflection, honesty, and a willingness to dig beneath the surface of daily routines. When we take the time to discover our why, we uncover a source of motivation that is sustainable, powerful, and deeply personal. It's the kind of motivation that doesn't depend on circumstances being perfect or people always being supportive. It comes from knowing in your heart that what you're doing matters. Why drives authentic decisions because it roots our choices in meaning, not just momentum. In everyday life, we are constantly making decisions: what to pursue, who to spend time with, where to invest our energy. These choices shape our path, yet many people make them based on what seems convenient, popular, or expected, rather than what truly aligns with their inner values. When we don't know our why, we often follow someone else's idea of success, hoping it will lead us to fulfillment. But authenticity comes from within. It is grounded in clarity about who we are and why we do what we do. When we start with why, our decisions begin to reflect our true selves. Instead of choosing a job just for the salary, we look for a role that connects with our sense of purpose. Instead of chasing validation, we seek alignment. Decisions become more than logical, they become meaningful. Authenticity in decision-making doesn't mean every choice is easy or comfortable, but it means each choice is rooted in integrity. It means we are living life on our terms based on what really matters to us, not what others expect. This kind of decision-making builds trust with ourselves and with others. When people see that your actions match your beliefs, they begin to respect and believe in you. There's a quiet power in consistency. Scholars who lead from their why inspire loyalty because people sense that their decisions are genuine. Friends and partners who act from a place of purpose create deeper, more lasting connections. And individuals who consistently choose based on their values develop self-trust. They don't constantly second-guess themselves because they know their choices are coming from an honest place. Knowing your why acts like a compass. It doesn't eliminate challenges or uncertainty, but it gives you direction. Life will always present options that look good on the surface. More money, more recognition, faster results. But when you're clear on your why, you can see beyond the surface. You can ask, does this truly serve me? Does it support who I want to become? Not every opportunity is the right opportunity. Some things may seem shiny but lead us away from what really matters. A strong why helps us see through the noise and choose the path that resonates with our core. Authentic decision-making also strengthens our boundaries. When we don't know why we're doing something, we're more likely to say yes to things that drain us or steer us off track. But when we're clear on our purpose, it becomes easier to say no without guilt. We no longer need to explain or justify every decision because we know what we stand for. That clarity allows us to protect our time, energy, and mental space for what truly matters. And over time, that kind of focus leads to progress that's not just measurable, but meaningful. Code. In difficult moments, your why becomes your anchor. When things don't go as planned, when pressure mounts or doubt creeps in, it's tempting to make reactive decisions just to escape discomfort. But if we act without purpose, we often end up in situations that feel even more disconnected. Haste is tempted. When we revisit our why in those moments, we reconnect to our deeper reason for choosing the path we're on. That connection doesn't make the challenge disappear, but it helps us choose from a place of strength rather than fear. It reminds us that we are not just surviving. We are creating a life that aligns with who we are. Authenticity also creates freedom. It allows us to release the pressure to impress, to conform, or to pretend. We stop living to meet expectations that don't belong to us. Instead, we start honoring our unique voice. Every authentic decision becomes an act of courage, a declaration that we are willing to be seen as we are. And the more we choose this path, the more empowered we feel. We begin to own our story instead of editing it to fit someone else's version of success. It's important to understand that authentic decisions don't always look dramatic or bold. Sometimes they show up in small, quiet ways. Choosing to spend time with someone who lifts your spirit. Saying no to a project that doesn't align with your values. Speaking up when something doesn't feel right. These everyday choices shape your character and strengthen your connection to your why. Over time, these moments add up. They form a life that feels real, honest, and intentional. When our actions reflect our why, we move with purpose. We become more than just doers. We become creators of a life that reflects who we truly are. Purpose over perfection is a mindset that shifts the way we approach life, work, and personal growth. In a world that often pressures us to be flawless, to meet unrealistic standards, and to always get things right, the pursuit of perfection can become paralyzing. People hold back their ideas, delay their dreams, or stay silent in fear of making a mistake. But when we embrace purpose over perfection, we allow ourselves to move forward with courage, knowing that the intention behind our actions matters more than a flawless outcome. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. When we lead with purpose, we focus on impact rather than image. We stop obsessing over how we appear and start concentrating on why we do what we do. That shift creates space for growth, experimentation, and authenticity. It gives us permission to try, to fail, to learn, and to try again. Perfection demands that we get it right the first time. Purpose gives us the freedom to get better over time. It fuels progress because it keeps us anchored in our deeper reasons for showing up, even when the results aren't perfect. This mindset is especially powerful when we're starting something new. Whether we're learning a skill, launching a project, or stepping into an unfamiliar role, perfection can become a barrier. We think we're not ready, not good enough, not qualified. But no one begins as an expert. Every great achievement starts with someone willing to be imperfect but committed to the mission. Purpose reminds us why we started in the first place. It keeps us grounded in the bigger picture and helps us push through the discomfort of not having all the answers yet. Choosing purpose over perfection also builds resilience. Perfectionism is fragile. It breaks under pressure because it's tied to a fear of failure. But purpose is strong. It endures setbacks because it's rooted in something deeper than performance. When we're driven by purpose, failure doesn't define us. It becomes feedback. We're able to reflect, adjust, and continue forward without being crushed by the weight of expectations. This is how people grow. Not by avoiding mistakes, but by moving through them with clarity and determination. Purpose-centered living also deepens our relationships. When we strive for perfection, we often become guarded. We don't want others to see our flaws, so we put on masks, hide our struggles, or distance ourselves. But when we lead with purpose, we're more willing to be real. We value connection over appearance. We choose honesty over performance. This kind of vulnerability invites others to do the same. It creates trust, empathy, and a sense of shared humanity. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity, and purpose makes authenticity possible. In creative work, purpose over perfection is essential. Artists, writers, innovators, and entrepreneurs often face the fear of judgment. They worry their work isn't good enough, their message isn't clear enough, or their vision isn't strong enough. But if they wait for perfect conditions or perfect execution, their ideas may never see the light of day. Purpose pushes us to create anyway. It tells us that what we're doing matters, even if it's messy, even if it's not polished. That mindset is what brings bold, meaningful work into the world. The most powerful creations often come from people who dared to share their truth before it felt perfect. In leadership, this principle becomes even more critical. Leaders who pursue perfection can become rigid, controlling, or disconnected from their team. They may expect flawless results without understanding the process. But leaders who lead with purpose create environments where people feel safe to take risks, make mistakes, and grow. They model humility and progress rather than perfectionism. They show that it's okay to not have all the answers, as long as the intention is clear and the mission is strong. That kind of leadership is more inspiring, more human, and ultimately more effective. Living with purpose over perfection also improves our mental and emotional well-being. Perfectionism is exhausting. It creates constant pressure to perform, a fear of being exposed, and a tendency to tie our worth to our outcomes. A purpose lifts that weight. It shifts our focus from proving ourselves to expressing ourselves. It allows us to live with intention, to move with meaning, and to embrace the process. We start to measure success not by how flawless things look, but by how aligned they feel. That internal alignment becomes a source of confidence, peace, and joy. It allows us to show up fully without needing to be perfect. Your why inspires others because it communicates something deeper than actions or words. It reflects passion, belief, and authenticity. People are naturally drawn to those who live and lead with purpose. When someone is connected to their why, it shows in how they speak, how they act, and how they handle both success and struggle. They don't have to convince people to follow them or listen to them. Others are inspired simply by witnessing someone who knows what they stand for and lives it out boldly in that kind of clarity becomes a magnet. It sparks curiosity, builds trust, and creates emotional connection. In a world full of noise, surface-level motivation, and constantly shifting trends, people are hungry for something real. They want to see passion in action, not just hear about it. When your actions are driven by your why, you become more than just another voice. You become a signal in the noise. People don't just hear you, they feel you. They begin to believe in what you believe because they can sense the sincerity behind your choices. You're not just showing up to go through the motions, you're showing up with a sense of mission, and that has power. Think about the people who have had the most impact in your life. It's likely not just because of what they achieved, but because of the conviction they carried. They believed in something bigger than themselves, and that belief lit a spark in you. Whether it was a teacher, a mentor, a leader, or even a friend, their passion likely awakened something in you. That's what happens when someone lives from their way. It activates potential in others. It makes people feel like they too can live with meaning, courage, and clarity. When you are clear on your why, your energy shifts. It's not about trying to impress or outshine anyone. It's about expressing something true. And that truth resonates far beyond your immediate circle. Purpose-driven people have a ripple effect. Their decisions, actions, and even their presence leave a lasting impression. You don't need a large platform to inspire others. You don't need to be famous or have a following. What matters is that you are aligned with something real. That alignment is what people remember. It's what leaves an impact long after you've left the room. Your why also gives others permission to embrace their own. When people see someone living with intention, it challenges them to look inward and ask themselves what drives them. It reminds them they too have something meaningful to contribute. You may not always see the effect you're having, but every time you show up with clarity and conviction, you become an example. You model what it looks like to lead from within, to act from the heart, and to stay true even when it's not easy. That kind of example can shift mindsets, ignite courage, and plant seeds of transformation. It's also important to recognize that inspiration through purpose isn't about being perfect or always having the right answers. In fact, people are often most inspired when they see someone pursuing their why through real-life challenges. Vulnerability becomes a bridge. When others see you struggle, stumble, and still move forward with integrity, it gives them hope. It reminds them that living with purpose isn't about having a perfect path. It's about staying committed to the path that matters. That kind of realness breaks down walls and creates connection, and connection is the root of inspiration. Purpose is contagious. In teams, families, and communities, one person's clarity can elevate the entire group. When a leader knows their why, it creates alignment and unity. When a parent models purpose-driven living, children grow up with a blueprint for authenticity. When a friend shares their why, it can open up meaningful conversations that lead to growth. Purpose doesn't need to be shouted to be heard. It just needs to be lived consistently. And when it is, it naturally influences and uplifts the people around you. Living from your why turns ordinary moments into powerful examples. A small act of kindness, a courageous choice, a thoughtful word. These become impactful when they come from a place of purpose. People may not remember every detail of what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. They'll remember the energy you carried, the light in your eyes, and the intention behind your actions. That's the legacy of living from your why. It's not about pushing others to follow your path. It's about inspiring them to discover their own. Why creates resilience in tough times because it gives us a reason to keep going when everything else tells us to stop. Life will always bring challenges, disappointments, failures, losses, and setbacks that shake our confidence and test our strength. In those moments, talent alone is not enough, and motivation based on temporary excitement fades quickly. But when we have a deep-rooted why, we have something solid to hold on to. Our purpose becomes an anchor that steadies us through the storm. It reminds us that what we're doing matters and that the pain we feel has a place within a bigger picture. When people face hardship without a clear why, it's easy to become discouraged. The struggle starts to feel meaningless. The effort seems wasted. But when you're connected to your why, the struggle gains context. The pain isn't pointless. It's part of the process. You start to see difficulties not as signs to quit, but as necessary steps in the journey towards something greater. That shift in perspective can make all the difference. It transforms suffering into fuel, obstacles into lessons, and setbacks into setups for growth. Purpose gives hardship a reason, and that reason gives you strength. Resilience is not about being immune to struggle. It's about finding the will to rise again and again. Your why gives you that will. It taps into something deeper than comfort or convenience. It pulls you forward when logic says to give up. Athletes push through exhaustion because they know what the victory means to them. Parents stay strong for their children because they understand the bigger purpose of their role. Leaders carry the weight of responsibility because they believe in the mission. In each case, it's the why, not the ease of the journey, that sustains them. There's a different kind of power that shows up when you're living with purpose. It's not loud or flashy. It's quiet, steady, and unshakable. It shows up when you decide to keep going even though it hurts. It shows up when you choose hope over fear, effort over apathy, and faith over doubt. That power doesn't come from external validation or applause. It comes from within, from the deep conviction that what you're doing has value, even when no one else sees it. That's the essence of resilience rooted in purpose. The journey of anyone who has achieved something meaningful is marked by struggle. But what makes their story powerful is not just what they accomplished, it's what they overcame to get there. Their resilience is what inspires others, and behind that resilience, you'll always find a why. Whether it's a dream, a belief, a cause, or a loved one, there is always something deeper driving them. That deeper reason is what gives them the courage to get back up after falling, to keep moving forward even when progress is slow, and to keep believing even when the results haven't shown up yet. Your why also helps you stay grounded in your values when things get tough. Stress and pressure can make people lose sight of who they are. They might compromise, cut corners, or chase shortcuts just to escape discomfort. But when your actions are tied to your purpose, you're less likely to stray. You stay true to what matters because you know what you stand for. That integrity builds long-term strength. It means you're not just surviving the storm, you're becoming stronger through it, with your character intact. Purpose also keeps your vision alive when the path is unclear. There will be seasons where the outcome you hoped for doesn't happen, or when nothing seems to be working. During those times, your why becomes the light in the dark. It reminds you of where you're headed and why you started. You may not have all the answers, and the way forward may not be obvious, but with purpose, you can take the next step. One step at a time, with faith in the mission that fuels you. Even in moments of deep pain or loss, your why can become a source of healing. Many people have turned personal tragedy into a lifelong mission to help others. They didn't find purpose in the pain itself, but in how they responded to it. Purpose doesn't erase suffering, but it gives us a way to rise from it with meaning. It helps us transform our experiences into something that serves others, something that brings light out of darkness. When everything is going well, it's easy to feel motivated. But true resilience is revealed in the struggle. That's where your why proves its power. It becomes the inner voice that whispers, "Keep going." It becomes the unseen force that helps you rise when everything around you is pushing you down. It becomes the reason you refuse to give up, no matter how heavy the weight may be. Living your why leads to fulfillment because it aligns your actions with your deepest values, and fulfillment can never be found in doing things just for the sake of doing them. So often, people find themselves in situations where they have achieved outward success, money, status, recognition, but still feel an emptiness inside. They wonder why, Despite all they have, they don't feel truly fulfilled. The reason is simple. Success without purpose is hollow. It's not the accumulation of achievements that brings lasting joy. It's the alignment of those achievements with a meaningful purpose. When your why is clear, your life becomes an expression of what truly matters to you. And in that alignment, fulfillment naturally follows. Fulfillment doesn't come from external validation. It comes from knowing that the things you're doing, the goals you're pursuing, and the relationships you're building are rooted in something bigger than yourself. When you live your why, you begin to feel a sense of integrity in your actions. Your choices no longer feel like obligations or attempts to meet someone else's expectations. They feel like steps on a journey that is uniquely yours. This deep sense of alignment fosters contentment because you are not chasing something that isn't yours to chase. But you chase. You are walking your own path with confidence and clarity. Living with purpose also brings a sense of peace. So many people live in a state of internal conflict, torn between what they feel they should do and what they truly want to do. The world is full of distractions, society's expectations, family pressures, the demands of work or social circles that can make it hard to stay true to ourselves. But when you know your why, you have a foundation to return to whenever you feel lost or confused. You stop questioning yourself because you are anchored in your purpose. This internal alignment creates a sense of calm because you know that no matter what else is happening, you are acting from a place of authenticity. Purpose also enables you to embrace your uniqueness. It allows you to let go of comparison, judgment, and the desire to fit into predefined molds. When you live your why, you stop looking for approval from others. Instead, you focus on being true to your own values and vision. This brings a deep sense of fulfillment because it frees you from the exhausting pursuit of perfection or validation. You start to embrace your journey, your strengths, your flaws, and your evolution. And in that embrace, you find peace because you are no longer striving to be something you're not. You are becoming more of who you are meant to be. When we live with purpose, we also create a deeper connection to the world around us. Fulfillment is not just about individual happiness. It's about making a meaningful contribution. When you live your why, your actions ripple out and impact others. You are not just going through the motions of life. You are actively participating in the creation of something positive in the world. Whether it's through your work, your relationships, or your passions, living your why allows you to contribute in ways that are authentic and meaningful. That sense of contribution is a key ingredient of fulfillment. When you know that your efforts are making a difference, whether big or small, it reinforces the value of your existence. Living your why also brings a sense of fulfillment through the act of growth. When you are clear on your purpose, every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow and learn. The pursuit of fulfillment is not a destination, it's a journey. And along the way, the challenges you face become valuable experiences that shape you into a stronger, wiser person. The setbacks, mistakes, and failures all serve a purpose. They aren't roadblocks, but stepping stones on your path to becoming the person you are meant to be. With every lesson learned, you get closer to your true self. That process of growth is intrinsically fulfilling, as it gives you a deeper understanding of your strengths, your limitations, and your potential. Furthermore, living your why creates alignment between your inner world and your outer world. When you live in accordance with your purpose, the things you do on a daily basis reflect your true beliefs and values. This alignment creates harmony, which is essential for fulfillment. It eliminates the feeling of being torn in multiple directions, and it helps you feel grounded. Whether it's choosing how to spend your time, what relationships to prioritize, or what work to pursue, when your actions are aligned with your values, there's a sense of flow that emerges in your life. This flow creates an inner peace that comes from living authentically. The beauty of living your why is that fulfillment doesn't have to be a distant dream. It can be present every day. When you wake up in the morning with a clear sense of purpose, your day becomes an opportunity to fulfill that purpose in small ways. Whether you're working on a project, connecting with someone, or just being present in the moment, you are engaging in activities that resonate with your core. Those moments of alignment add up, and over time, they create a life that feels rich with meaning and purpose. The more you live in this way, the more fulfillment you experience, not as an end goal, but as a way of being. It's a shift from seeking fulfillment outside of yourself to realizing that it already exists within you when you live with purpose.